Fox Sports.
We are Buffalo. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
To say that Victor Martinez is red hot would be an understatement. Martinez 9 for his last 18 at bats, 6 RBIs, and was on base 4 more times last night. Hopefully more of the same tonight from Victor on a great night for baseball. Welcome inside Comerica Park, Game 2 in this series, featuring the Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemble, Rod Allen. We are glad to have you with us here for Game 2 of the series tonight. Tigers on the short end of it last night, Rod. But you know what? Victor Martinez is starting to get hot, and that's really good news for the Tigers.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Since he's come back after the All-Star break, his at-bats, there's much more patience, there's much more trust. Victor's driving the ball up the middle, and he's found the seats a couple of times. He went about a month in between extra base hits, but he's getting extra base hits now in bunches, and let's hope he continues it.
Tigers need to find a way to stop Francisco Lindor. Another big night in the ballgame last night. 2 home runs for the All-Star shortstop. He's hot as well.
Well, he probably is the best all-around shortstop in all of baseball when you combine the offense, the defense, the base running skills, the fact that he's a switch hitter. He plays a premium position. 27 home runs already this season, which leads all major league shortstops. He's had 5 multi-homer games out of that leadoff spot, and if he hits one more, he will set a new major league record. He gets it done from both sides, and not only does he get it done on that offensive side with bat, with that glove and the range and the arm and the accuracy and the smile. I mean, this young man is awfully special, and when you add in his counterpart, the guy that plays to the right of him, the third baseman, these guys, Mario, are on pace to have the best seasons in the history of the game with a shortstop and a third baseman playing on the same team in the same season. So it's mind-boggling the kind of season that both of these young men are having. Neither guy stands 6 feet tall, but they play like they're 6'5", and they're both in the MVP conversation as we speak.
Ramirez and Lindor got to find a way to stop them here tonight. Game 2 in the series, minutes away. After a short break, we go to the Coliseum Studios. Check in with Johnny Kane, Blaine Hardy on the hill tonight on a Saturday night in Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Chrysler. Get your family ready to roll with a new vehicle from the Chrysler Summer Clearance Event. Beautiful look at the 1984 World Series Championship Trophy. Johnny Kane with you here from the Coliseum studio. It has been a special weekend to be sure, and our special coverage from Cooperstown will continue throughout the weekend. Question is, what do the current Hall of Famers have to say about their two newest inductees from Detroit? We're talking about Jack Morris and Alan Trammell, two of the greatest to ever don the Old English D. They'll be enshrined this weekend, and we'll hear from the Hall of Famers throughout the evening.
Hall of Fame weekend, and our coverage continues of the Hall of Fame inductions this week. And you're looking at the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, where Jack Morris and Alan Trammell will be inducted this weekend. Meanwhile, Blaine Hardy is on the mound tonight for the Tigers. Blaine getting the start in place of Liriano, and he is presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Blaine Hardy's had a handful of starts this year. He's also pitched out of the bullpen, but if you add in his starts, there's been 9 of those, a 4.24 earned run average. He's got a fastball that gets up to about 91, 92. He's got all the other pitches as well, the curveball, the slider, and the changeup. And he'll throw any of those pitches in any count to the Cleveland Indians batters here tonight.
So the Tribe a winner in last night's ball game. They have won the first game of the series and 11 of the 14 between these two squads this year. And here's the first pitch. It is outside to Francisco Lindor of the Indians. Lindor, big night last night with 2 home runs, leading the Tribe. Hardy's 1-0 is down low, 2 balls and no strikes.
Lindor checks in with 27 home runs, but most of those home runs come batting left-handed. But he is batting about .385 against left-handed pitching this year. So a better batting average when batting right-handed, much more power when batting on the other side.
Hit a couple of balls last night that were well beyond 100 miles an hour in the exit velocity. It'll go outside to make it 3-1 now on Lindor. Blaine will get about 70 pitches or so tonight, filling in for Mr. Liriano. Here's the 3-1, and it's high, ball 4. The leadoff man is on for the Indians. Rest of their lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. You saw Lindor. Brantley coming up, then Jose Ramirez. They've got Encarnacion batting cleanup. Geyer is in right field tonight with the lefty on the mound. Alonso at first, and Davis, Kipnis, and Perez, your bottom 3 for Terry Francona. Indians came into play with a solid lead of 8 games in the American League Central Division. There's a strike called on Brantley. 2 hits in last night's ball game from Michael Brantley, including that big leadoff single, which turned out to highlight a big inning for them. It was the 8th in which they went ahead and broke the tie.
And with that multi-hit contest last night turned in by Michael Brantley, that now gives him 31 multi-hit games this year. His batting average pretty much has been over 300 all season.
In there, a strike called, 0-2 on Brantley, who tonight is playing in his 1,000th major league game. So a milestone of sorts for Brantley. Oh, they got him picked off. Lindor leaning the wrong way, and he's out. Nice job by Hardy. Bases are empty now.
It's a nice job here by Blaine, who could tell that Lindor at first base was a little antsy. And he gave him a nice pickoff move, and Adduci able to apply the tag to Lindor as he tried to get back to first base.
Not only did he tag him, but he was out of the baseline as signaled by Carlos Torres, the umpire. So he was out 2 ways. Brantley lines one to center field, a base hit.
He can just hit, man. My goodness, Michael. McLaren Health brings you the Tigers' starting defense. In left field tonight, Jacoby Jones gets to start out there. Martin, he's in center field, and Nicholas Castellanos occupies his regular position on a nightly basis. Candelario Iglesias, Nico Goodrum, and Adduci round out the infield, and John Hicks gets the nod behind the plate. James McCann was the starting catcher in last night's contest.
Jose Ramirez, the batter. Did not have a hit last night, but he did walk twice. 73 RBIs this year for Ramirez. And now quickly 0-2.
And his OPS is over 1,000. That's the on-base percentage added in with the slugging percentage. There's not a whole lot of guys in the big leagues walking around with a 1,000 OPS. But he's one of them.
Hardy got ahead of Brantley 0-2, gave up the base hit to center. Now he's gone 0-2 on Ramirez. Blaine is a starter this year, has an ERA over 4.24. Ooh, just missed. Blaine has been a jack of all trades. He has pitched out of the bullpen. He has pitched in the rotation, was DFA'd earlier this year, only to rejoin the Tigers organization and become a pretty big part of the pitching staff this year. That'll bounce in. 2-2 now on Ramirez.
And Hardy looking for a ground ball off the bat of Ramirez, but for the most part, Ramirez does not hit the ball on the ground. He's only grounded into 1 twin killing this season.
Wasted foul back out of play. Another nice night here at the ballpark. 79 degrees our game time temp.
Beautiful. Nice crowd on hand as well on a Saturday night.
Way high. 3-2 now on Ramirez.
And very little shift on Jose Ramirez in the Tigers infield when he's batting right-handed. Last night you saw when he was batting left-handed, however, they were shading him to the pull field. Not tonight.
See what the Indians want to do here with Brantley at first in a 3-2 count. Encarnacion waiting on deck.
He might want to let Brantley take off. One of the things that's tough to do is strike out Ramirez. He doesn't strike out very much.
Runner holds and it's fouled out of play.
And time for the StatCast A1 powered by AWS. And there's the way that he hits the ball when batting right-handed. As you can see, pretty much sprays it around.
Popped up left field line, Candelario, and now the shortstop Iglesias, and in foul ground Iglesias hauls it in. So they retired the dangerous Ramirez, 2 away. Here's Encarnacion. Indians here in the month of July have scored more runs than anybody in baseball, 134 runs this month. And their average is a touch over 6 per game. There's a strike called on Encarnacion. He is not hitting for high average, but he will drive in runs, 71 driven in.
You look up Encarnacion's numbers the last 5 years. He's been a serious run producer. Lots of home runs, lots of RBIs. He has been very productive.
He really came into his own as a member of the Blue Jays. That's when his career took off. High pop-up, shallow right field, long run, and Castellanos runs it down. No runs. They get a walk, a hit, and leave a man. We go to the bottom of the first. In a 0-0 game. Here come the Tigers now. Their lineup is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Martin, Candelario, Castellanos in your top 3 spots. Nico Goodrum is batting cleanup. Victor is the DH. Hicks is catching tonight. Ducey, Iglesias, and Jones rounded out for Ron Gardhire. And Mike Clevenger is on the hill tonight for the Indians, presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
And Clevenger's got some good stuff. I mean, he checks in with a 7-6 record. He's pitched his best baseball on the road this year. He's got all 4 pitches: fastball, curve, slider, change. 125 strikeouts. He's only walked 44, and he's had some success against the Tigers in his career.
There was some word that Clevenger was not going to start this game tonight. He has not been feeling well.
Scared of the Tigers in, right?
Well, that's probably it.
Yeah.
They said before the game that Dan Otero might start this game, but it is Clevenger out there. Here is Leonis Martin. And look at ball 1. Martin batting .251.
Outstanding fastball hitter is Leonis Martin.
Clevenger missing again, 2-0.
And Martin is going to get that really good fastball right here from Clevenger. And he'll be hacking.
In there, a strike called. He got the heater right at the knees.
That's a shocker.
Clevenger, 27 years old, out of Jacksonville, Florida. Started the year on fire. Was awfully good early on. Ripped to right field on a line, and it's going to be caught there by Geyer.
And let's take a look at the Tribe defensive alignment behind Clevenger this afternoon, or this evening, I should say. Brantley, Davis, Geyer in the outfield. Terry Francona has his left-handed lineup out there today. That would be Davis and Geyer. They get most of their reps against left-handed starters. Ramirez and Lindor and Kipnis Alonso round out the infield, and Roberto Perez is an outstanding catcher. He's behind the plate tonight.
It seems like afternoon with the 6 p.m. start.
Yeah, and a beautiful lot of sunlight.
Strike 1 on Candelario. Jamer in the 2 slot again here this evening. Last night had a single. Wave and a miss, 0-2.
Jamer also hit a bullet right at the first baseman, Alonso, and Alonso was able to turn it into a double play. 3-6-3 variety double play.
That double play came in the 7th inning after Martin had singled. That closed out that inning. Clevenger working quickly. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. First strikeout tonight for the right-hander Clevenger.
Nice breaking ball here by Clevenger. Now, he's really busy on the mound. He's got a fast windup, and then he throws you that breaking ball. Nice little spinner here. Look at this thing come off the fingertips. Breaking ball looked a lot like Mike Fiers' breaking ball last night.
Didn't it? Fiers again was good, although he gave up a couple of homers in the game.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about the homers, but man, he pitched well enough to keep the squad in the game to possibly beat up on the first place Cleveland Indians.
Bouncing ball to short. Lindor has it, throws out Castellanos. Then a 1-2-3 inning for Clevenger. Blaine Hardy back to work here in the second as Geyer flares the first pitch out to right field, and one pitch and one gone here in the second. That'll bring up Yonder Alonso. Hardy in the first inning allowed a single and a walk, but he picked off Lindor, and that helped things out. Alonso has typically done some damage over the years, whether wearing an Oakland uniform or a Tribe uniform against the Tigers.
He's got a lot of power. Already he's 17 homers.
A little bit outside, 1-0. Rolled foul down the first base line. Lefty on the mound in this game, but still some left-handers in the lineup tonight for the Cleveland Indians. They've got Alonso, they got Kipnis, and they got Brantley. Swing and a miss, and Alonso with a count now of 1-2. Way high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alonso began his career in Cincinnati, went to San Diego, then Oakland for a spell, Seattle as well, so he's been well traveled. Sliced the other way and out of the reach of Candelario. Broke his bat as well, and it's going to be a bloop single for Alonso. Here are Chevrolet's most dependable players on Hall of Fame weekend. Want to highlight the inductees this weekend. It'll be Morris and Trammell and Vlad. Pretty good group there, along with Jones and Hoffman and Tomey.
Special group going in this year, and all 6 very deserving of being immortalized in Cooperstown. 4-time World Series champ for Jack. Tram won a championship. He was an MVP in the World Series in '84.
Here's the drive to left center field that gets down a base hit. Alonso hits the bag at second. He's going to third. And quickly back in with the ball, holding Davis to a single.
That's an outstanding play right there by Jacoby Jones. And I'm sure he probably got a little help from Martin. But Jacoby Jones, when you grade him out for left fielders, there's very few that are better, more athletic. But look at him get over here and cut this ball off. And you brought it up, Mario. The key point was him throwing the ball to second base on the line to keep the speedy Rajay Davis at first base, at least for the time being, to keep the double play in order. Now Blaine's going to have to watch Rajay because he's a bona fide thief. He's going to try to steal second.
Here is Kipnis. Strike 1 on Kipnis.
Looking like the Cleveland Indians are aggressive tonight against Hardy early in count.
Tribe now with 3 hits. So Davis with 16 steals. We know all about Rajay. Spent some time here in Detroit, and he is one of the best base stealers in the game. He has over 400. Popped up and heading back out of play.
And Rajay now is in his mid-30s, and he's running as well as he's ever ran. Keeps himself in great shape. He's always smiling, blessed with tremendous speed. And he's fearless on the base paths. He said he learned that from Ricky Henderson, and when he was playing for the Oakland Athletics, and Ricky would show up as a guest instructor.
Line drive to right field, sinking, base hit. That'll get a run in. Davis will go to second. It's an RBI hit for Kipnis, and again a 2-strike hit for the Tribe.
Yeah, Blaine's had no difficulty getting ahead of some of these Tribe hitters, but once he's gotten ahead, he has not been able to come up with that put-away pitch.
3 straight singles for Cleveland. That'll bring up Roberto Perez.
And 2 of those singles coming off the bat of left-handers.
Yeah, Brantley with 1 in the first inning.
Well, that means 3 hits today.
Yeah.
3 hits, though, the 4 against lefties today.
Brantley, Alonso, and Kipnis. Strike 1 to Perez.
You've got to watch Rajay Davis very closely if you're Nico Goodrum, the second baseman. Rajay will try to steal third base. He's stolen third base 113 times in his major league career. 113 of them.
It's a boatload.
Yep. 113 of 127. Rajay not wearing that oven mitt no more.
No.
The one he made famous.
I wonder why. 1 ball, 1 strike on Perez.
Rajay's going to try to swipe the bag. That's just the way he plays the game.
By the way, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game. And it's presented, as always, by our friends at McDonald's. Indians lead 1-0, looking for more here in the second. Now Perez given time.
And Blaine Hardy still looking for the ground ball. Something soft, maybe a changeup, might get Perez to roll over something to the shortstop. Jose Iglesias.
Earlier this year, Rajay stole 3 bases in a game, and the Indians tweeted out, Davis becomes the oldest Cleveland player to ever steal 3 bags in a game. And Rajay tweeted back, I don't feel old. He doesn't play like it. Ball high, 2-2. Most guys, when they don't get to the mid-30s, the major league level, and they start to slow down a bit.
Absolutely.
Legs are banged up, body's banged up.
Not Rajay.
Gomes caught last night. Perez behind the dish tonight for the Indians. They have made some upgrades to their bullpen. They're still probably not done. There is some thought they're looking for an extra bat in their lineup. And I saw today the rumors, and they're only rumors this time of the year, that Brian Dozier of the Twins is on their radar.
Dozier.
Yeah. Little pop-up foul, again slicing out of play. Well, we're running out of time in terms of the trading deadline. It's coming up on Tuesday at 4 p.m. So this, I would imagine, will be a very busy weekend for the cell phones of GMs around the league.
No doubt about that. The busiest time of the year for the general managers, whether you're a seller or a buyer. Already there's been a tremendous amount of movement this week in itself.
Well, Perez giving Hardy a battle here. Not to mention a fit.
One thing Hardy has not done yet, and I don't know if it's by design, but he has not thrown any fastballs inside to these tribe hitters. And I know you pretty much want to stay away for the most part, but every now and then it's not all bad to show that fastball inside because they're not expecting it.
Ground ball up the middle. Iglesias shovels to second, 1 and a double play.
There's that 6-4-3 double play on the changeup.
They will settle for 1 run, and we'll go to the bottom of the second at Comerica.
Every day, Tram's out there just, nicked up, hurt. Something's wrong with him, it seems like, and he's just playing and playing at a high level. And I used to just shake my head and go, how does he do this? I mean, how does he, why can't I improve like Tram's improving, but he's just a guy that loves the game. He's a sports nut, number one. You can talk to him about any sport, anytime, anywhere, and he's going to be up on it and know what's going on. But he's baseball through and through.
And that is our Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. The words of Tom Brookins, a teammate of Alan Trammell's, and if there was anyone ever in the game that was built for the game of baseball, Tram would be it.
One of the most fundamentally sound shortstops that I've ever been around, and he always used two hands. He got in front of every ground ball that he could get in front of. I mean, Tram did not draw any attention to himself, and he lasted 20 years at a premium position. Unbelievable career for Alan Trammell.
One going here as Clevenger will face Victor Martinez, who is as hot as anybody in the game right now, 9 for his last 18.
With some extra base power. Victor with 6 homers. He's driven in 35 total this year.
You know, Ron, I'm not sure there is a player in the league right now that benefited more from the All-Star break than Martinez.
It's starting to look that way because he was looking like he was a little tired on that final Sunday before the break in Houston. Went home for 4 days, had a chance to recharge the batteries, and he has come back, and his bat has looked a whole lot quicker in the 6 games they've played since they've come back.
Popped up. Perez discards the mask, and he'll make the catch. Thing was hit a mile high. 2 away. Here is John Hicks. Hicks behind the plate for this one here tonight as McCann gets the night off. Meanwhile, 5 up, 5 down against Clevenger. Spins a breaking ball up there for ball 1. 1 for 4 last night for Hicks, who started at first base. Another breaking ball popped up. This will be Alonso in foul ground, and Clevenger with another 1-2-3 inning. 2 in the books here at Comerica. Weekend, Jack Morris. Well, did you know that he played his college ball at Brigham Young University? And there were his numbers at BYU.
One of my best friends also went to Brigham Young University, but he went there the year after Jack had left. Stanley Younger is his name. We went to high school together, and he went to Brigham Young to play football and baseball.
Here's Lindor, and he looks at his strike. Did you like it there?
He had a good time there, and the reason why he went there, Mario, is because he was a receiver. And Brigham Young really liked to throw the football. I mean, they had some really good quarterbacks that could really throw that football.
Fly ball to right field. Castellanos coming in. Lindor is out, one gone in the third.
A lot of outs in the air today, buddy.
Hey, be part of history when the Tigers retired the number of 2018 Hall of Fame inductee Jack Morris. It's prior to the Sunday, August 12th game, and that's against the Minnesota Twins. The on-field ceremony begins at 12:15. Be here early. First 10,000 fans get a replica Jack Morris jersey. Go to Tigers.com for more info. A lot of balls in the air indeed.
On both teams.
1, 2, 3. That's 4 of them for the Indians early on here. Brantley, another one in the air. This one to shallow center for Leonis Martin.
I guess everybody's working on that launch angle tonight.
2 gone. Well, as you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game. Hardy had barely a chance to catch his breath after that 7-pitch second for Clevenger.
Yeah, both guys are working rather quickly here this evening.
Hardy gave up a run on 3 straight singles in the second, but got a double play ball to end that rally. Now it's 0-2 on Jose Ramirez. Just looking up numbers on Ramirez. 30 homers this year in the major leagues. That is a career high with a couple of months to go.
My goodness.
But in his minor league career, the most he'd ever hit one season was 6. It'll bounce away from the catcher Hicks.
Time for the StatCast. AI powered by AWS. And there's where Ramirez hits the ball when he hits it on the ground. 21% up the middle, 36 toward the shortstop, 27 down toward third base.
Shot to the second baseman Goodrum. Easy play. Ramirez is out in a quick third for Blaine Hardy. Everything happens for a reason. Jack Morris looks back at his path to Cooperstown when we come back.
It's absolutely crazy to think about the journey and how the path has been perfectly placed for me. I can't even imagine. I think about this all the time. You know, in college I was scouted by the St. Louis Cardinals. I thought I was going to be drafted by the Cardinals. Where would this all happened if I would have gone to St. Louis? I have no clue. You know, everything happens for a reason, I believe. Even the time that it took to get here, I think, has given me a better appreciation for the whole process.
Jack Morris in tonight's Menards Big Money Encounter, and his thoughts about his path to Cooperstown. And he really is right, Rob. When you think about it, there are so many things that happen in our lives along the way that affect where eventually you reach.
You know, Jack shared one of those moments at the caravan, well, not necessarily the caravan, but the dinner after the caravan. They call it the leadoff party.
Right.
And he was up on stage with Tram, and it was Gibby was the moderator. And Jack Morris talked about how influential Jim Leyland was in his career and the path that Jim Leyland started him on, because he said Jim Leyland point blank told him, nobody likes you very much. Your teammates don't like you very much. You probably need to change a little bit if you're going to be around here for a while. And he changed. I mean, he did. He changed, and he ended up getting into the Hall of Fame. But it took that kind of tough love from Jim Leyland to get him to recognize you've got to change a little bit.
Yeah, I love that story, and I love Leyland, man. Just has a way of delivering a message.
Yeah, they don't dig you very much around here.
2-2 on Jim Adduci as we get things started here in the bottom of the third, and Adduci fouls it back.
But we later learned, though, that's what made Jack special. I mean, Jack was one of the fiercest competitors you'd ever want to see on a mound. The winningest pitcher in the decade of the 80s.
Clevenger twisting and turning with the 2-2 and a swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Clevenger.
Yeah, you know that split finger fastball that Jack Morris made famous, as we get a look at one replay here of the breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone to get strike three on Adduci. It's a changeup, and it's a good one at 89 miles an hour, hard changeup. But no one throws that split-fingered fastball anymore. I mean, Jack Morris, he was taught that by Roger Craig, who was a pitching coach at that time. But you don't see a lot of pitchers throwing the split finger because it puts too much pressure on your elbow and your forearm.
It was such a devastating pitch for Jack.
But everybody was throwing that pitch in the 80s.
Iglesias now with one out. Remember Valenzuela with the screwball?
I sure do.
I mean, I always wondered how much torque that put on your elbow.
He is the toughest left-handed pitcher that I ever faced in my life.
Ripped down the left field line. That'll go to the corner and jump into the seats. It'll be a double for Iglesias.
And I didn't even see Fernando in the big leagues. I saw him in Mexico the year before he went to the big leagues, and he was a Rookie of the Year and the Cy Young Award winner. That was before he even went to the big leagues. Iggy can really pull that ball down the line, can he? He did it a couple times in last night's game, and he almost was rewarded with a homer and a double, but both of those balls were foul balls.
Tying run now at second. That'll bring up Jacoby Jones. Only one out. Jones hammers one to left field. Is it deep enough? And Jacoby hits it out. A two-run shot, and the Tigers have the lead. Well, that happened fast.
Happy for Jacoby. Jacoby is a dangerous bat when he makes the ball come down in the strike zone. He was out taking some extra batting practice yesterday. He not playing yesterday's game. That's a 94-mile-per-hour fastball that Clevenger tried to sneak inside against Jacoby, and those lightning-quick hands came through that hitting zone in a hurry, and Jacoby was able to barrel it up for a two-run shot.
Martin trying to bunt, but that ball comes in at his shoe tops.
That's an encouraging sign to see Martin square to bunt, especially I did not think his legs were feeling all that well, but if he's squaring to bunt, he must be ready to run.
Jones, by the way, 361 feet on that home run, a line drive home run.
Yeah, not much launch angle with that one.
Tigers now starting to hit Clevenger. 3 straight hard hit balls. A single to right. After he'd retired 7 straight. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. A free small order of curly fries. Well, we got 1 of them. Need 2 more. Here's Candelario. It floats in for a strike on Jamer. 0-1. Clevenger retired 7 straight, 2 via the strikeout. Tigers weren't doing anything until the double by Iggy and then the homer by Jones. Jamer shoots this one in the air to center field. Davis on the charge. Out number 2. That'll bring him Castellanos. The Jones home run. He is 8th of this campaign. Nick bounced out his first time up, 0 for 1. Clevenger had absolutely owned the Tigers in his last 5 starts coming into this one. An ERA of 1.19. 4-0 record in that stretch as well. And they've gotten to him with a 2-run homer here by Jones. Swing and a miss.
They've got a good rotation with Clevenger, Kluber, and Bauer. We saw Carrasco last night. Their front 4 pretty good.
One thing I do wonder about Clevenger is he is on pace to throw over 200 innings this year. He only threw 121 last year.
Oh my goodness.
So that is quite a leap.
They're going to have to slow him down.
Yeah.
Nice quick move though.
What do they talk about? They want what, maybe 20% more innings every year?
Yeah, not many. 200 would be a lot if he was able to get there. And you add in postseason, they're going to the postseason. There's Carrasco. He pitched 200 innings last night for the first time in his career.
0-1. Oh, he threw it away. Martin gets up. He might get the 3rd on this. He'll round the bag, and there he goes. He is in there standing up on a 2-base throwing error by Clevenger.
And Martin more than likely not running. Alonso has a good glove over at first base, but he could not bail out Clevenger, who bounced it right over his glove, and by the time they were able to pick it up, and Martin coasting over to 3rd base. I said Carrasco pitched 200 innings last night, but that was not right.
Last year?
Last year he pitched 200 innings for the first time.
How long did that game last? 0-1 Castellanos.
Come on, Nick.
Rolled foul.
Nick's an outstanding breaking ball hitter. He has been all season long. Got a hanging breaking ball to hit right there from Clevenger. Just a little bit too quick on it, though.
Two-1. Tigers have the lead, looking for more here in the 3rd with 2 outs.
Here's that breaking ball. Watch that front shoulder. Nick pulled that front shoulder off prematurely. See how quick it came off? Nick's much better when he keeps that front shoulder a little closer to his body, because when he does pull off violently like he did on the previous pitch, your hands get too far away from your body and you don't generate much bat speed at all. You got to keep those hands close to the vest, close to the body, to generate maximum power.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That'll end the inning. So they get 2 runs to the home run by Jones. And Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Well, the Tigers have their first lead of the night thanks to Jacoby Jones and his 2-run homer. Here's Encarnacion. He'll get things rolling here in the 4th. Then Geyer and then Alonso. Hardy throws outside. 2 on the count on Encarnacion. Lane gave up 3 straight singles in the 2nd, then got a double play and got him quickly in the 3rd. 1-2-3. Drill down the left field line. It's going to hook though.
Oh my goodness.
That ball went a long way.
It sure did. He's got tremendous power to the pull field though. Does Encarnacion. Not a whole lot of power to right field, but he can really hit that baseball to left field with a lot of authority.
Fly ball in the air towards center field. It's going to be swallowed up by the ballpark, and Martin catches. Let's bring in Matt Shepard.
Mario had a really interesting and enjoyable conversation with Indians manager Terry Francona about Jack Morris and Alan Trammell as Hall of Famers. Remember, Francona and Trammell's careers overlapped 10 years on the playing field, but Trammell was here in Detroit when Terry Francona was part of Buddy Bell's staff as the 3rd base coach in 1996, and it was Trammell's last year. And some stellar players may not give much respect to a first-time 3rd base coach, but Francona told me that Trammell was coachable, humble, and a true pro. Really happy that he's in his rightful place, but not just because of the statistics that he boasted as a Tiger, Mario, but also because of the way he played the game and the way he treated others in the game.
Yeah, Shep, that story does not shock me at all when it comes to Alan Trammell. You know, we had Tram here early in the 2000s when he was the manager of a team, Rod, that quite honestly was probably AA, AAA level at the major league level.
Yeah, he did not have a good roster, and he handled it like a pro, knowing that that team in 2003 was not going to compete, and that team did not compete.
Castellanos hauls this one in, 2 away.
Yeah, but Tram lasted 3 years as the manager before going on and coaching in other places. Now he's back with the organization, working with all the young kids in the minor leagues for the most part. And he also works with some of the big league players too.
And guys, when pros like Francona and all the players that John Keating has interviewed in Cooperstown for us this weekend, when they know you belong, I mean, it's one thing to impress us. It's another thing to impress those guys who played at that elite level. You know what I mean?
Indeed, and that's Alan Trammell. It's going to be fun to watch his speech tomorrow. I know that Tram was saying he has practiced it over and over and over. And it'll be a fun day for Tigers fans in Cooperstown, New York tomorrow afternoon.
They say that there are so many Tiger fans already there.
I believe it.
Now, we know how well Tigers fans travel.
One and two now on Alonso. Singled and scored in the second. Three out of four in the series now for Alonso. He's been on a bit of a tear. 4 home runs in his last 6 games. 17 for the year now for Yonder. Shifting to the right side. Fly ball left center field. It's going to be Martin on the run. And Leones tracks it down. A 1-2-3 inning. Who is one of Tram's first phone calls after hearing the news of his induction? Find out after the break.
Right away when I got the call back in December, and he said
What
he
was
was
that
coming.
conversation like?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, he was proud, and you know, he was proud for both Jack and I. So now to fast forward to go to Jack, and I called him, you know, shortly thereafter and told Jack that Lou's in, and you know, that put a big smile on. So then it became, you know, whose list is he on? Is he on your list or my list? Because then it was on my list, and that's no problem. And he's got some friends coming up with him as well. But we want him to be here. He should be here. And you know, again, my dream is that someday he'll be in here as well.
The 1-800 call Sam call of the game, and that was Alan Trammell. And of course, there's no doubt he'll be pushing hard in the coming years to have his buddy Lou Whitaker in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I imagine that he and Jack tomorrow will both mention Lou Whitaker's name. And I'm sure that there will be some fans there tomorrow chanting Lou's name as well. So it was really special to hear Tram. That was one of the first phone calls that he made to his second base buddy.
Well, think about all the help that Whitaker gave Morris behind him defensively. And of course, what he meant to Tram as a double play partner. Certainly a very big part of those two fellas getting to the Hall of Fame. 1-2 on Nico is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Goodrum swings and misses. He's out of there. 1 gone here in the 4th inning. Let's bring in Craig Monroe now. And Simo, your thoughts on the big day tomorrow. Of course, Alan Trammell close to you as well, and Jack Morris. So it's going to be a great day.
Yes, sir, it will be, Mario. For me, I'm going to start the chants that Rod speak of. Sweet, sweet, Lou, Lou. You're absolutely right, because when I think of Alan Trammell, obviously, you think of Sweet Lou as well. One of the greatest double play combination, a combo in the game to ever play the game, as far as I'm concerned, especially 19 years together. But getting a chance to play for Tram in 2003, well, Victor laces a line drive up the middle, continue to rake.
He's been hot.
He locked in right now, Rod. But guys, you want to talk about a class act? You're speaking of Alan Trammell. That 2003 team, I heard you guys talking about before I came on. We talked about it was a double-A roster. I was on that roster. The one thing that I can say about Tram and Gibby, Big Will, those guys worked their butts off. They gave us all the information. They came to the park early. They left late. They gave us the tools that it took to be a good team. And it just, unfortunately, we didn't have enough talent. But soon after that, obviously, we talk about the 2006 team. We were able to really learn from Tram and allow Jim Leland to lead the way.
You know, Simo, one of the things that allowed the Tram to work as efficiently as he worked is because he learned from Sparky Anderson. And I wasn't around Sparky Anderson that long, but he commanded respect in the room. He commanded respect on the field. And there's no doubt that the Tram took a little bit of that from Sparky, and that's one of the reasons why you guys worked as hard as you worked that
year. Meanwhile, Hicks with a base hit to put 2 men on now with 1 out.
That's a little breaking ball there, flipped up there by Clevenger, who's thrown a lot of breaking balls. This one stays right over the heart of the plate, and a real nice, clean swing by Big John Hicks, laced by a diving Lindor.
Rod, you told a story on the pregame show about Lou Whitaker when you first got to camp with the Tigers in '84. I want you to retell that story because that is a great story.
Well, when Sparky Anderson used to want Jack Morris and Dan Petrie and even Rozema to pitch, not in the regular games, but in B games. They didn't have B games. So what he would do, he would have players like Chet Lemon, Lou Whitaker, Alan Trammell hit against these guys in game-like situations. And shortly after I got to minor league spring training that year, I was having a pretty good camp in minor league spring training. So Sparky wanted to see me across the street. So I go across the street, and usually when you're a young player, you go across the street, you don't play. You sit on the bench, on the bus, in the back of the bus. You got some bubble gum in. You're just chilling. You don't think you're going to play. But they read off the starting lineup, dude, and I was in the starting lineup. And I'm like, no way. And this is the '84 championship team. Right. I wasn't even in big league spring training. So I go over there. I get a couple of hits that day. And lo and behold, I keep going back. I keep getting hits. And about a week before spring training was over, Lou Whitaker walked over to me and said, boy, you're going to make this team. And I said, there's no way I'm going to make this team, Lou. He says, trust me, the way Sparky Anderson is watching you, you're going to make this team this year. And then they made the trade with the Philadelphia Phillies, and they traded Glenn Wilson away, who was a big-time prospect at the time, can't miss prospect. And after they made that deal, Sparky said, you're going to get those at. I mean, Sparky told me, and also Lou Whitaker said, you're going to get those at bats. And he was right.
Wow, the great story, and had to be great memories.
Oh, my goodness, man. To make that team out of minor league spring training, it's incredible. I mean, 35-5. And I'll tell you one more story, Mario. If I had not played those handful of games in '84 with the Tigers, you would not have had to put up with me for the last 15 years.
Darn it, Sparky.
There's no doubt. I mean, those few games that I played that year paved the way for me to have this gig for 15 years.
Well, that's great. I mean, great memories of a great team. And even UC Mo in that 2003 team, yes, that was a very rough year, but it did pave the way for '06.
It really did. And I actually got a chance to talk to Tram. Tram called me in the office one day, and I've been up and down. I played minor league for 7 years. And Tram goes, you can relax. You're going to be my starting left fielder. And I get this all this chills just went over my body like, are you serious? Somebody truly believes in you, and they're going to give you an opportunity. And I go, Skip, thanks. I really appreciate it. He goes, you earned it. And that's who Tram is to me, man. You earn it, and he has no problem giving you that opportunity. And he definitely gave me an opportunity to play every single day. And what a feeling it was to put on that old English D, guys, every single day.
Here's your Rand pick to stick right here, Simo.
Well, he hit a double his first time up.
You picked him off the board with the second pick today?
I did.
Look out.
Trying to catch Mario right now, Rod.
Yeah, I'm headed the wrong way. You're
You
headed the
too.
right way.
I'm trying to get back to the top row.
Ebbs and flows of a long season.
Iglesias, a two-bagger, scored in the home run by Jones in the third.
Iglesias shot a breaking ball down in that left field corner the last time he was up, and if Clevenger continues to hang him, what do you say, see? They bang him?
Hang him, we bang him.
Now Clevenger ready with the 1-0.
Ooh, there it was.
It sure was. And he swung right through it.
Took a little off that one. That one was at 79. He's throwing a changeup today at 89. He flips it off that fingertips very nicely. It's a great shot right there of what the breaking ball was designed to do. Disrupt your timing, get you out in front.
Singles in the inning by Martinez and Hicks. That curls inside, now 2-1. Clevenger last year had a breakout season, posting career highs in just about every category. Won 12 games last year and started out really good this year.
He's one of the main reasons, along with the other three members of their starting staff, as to why so many experts picked them to win this division and to go deep into the postseason because of their starting pitching.
2-2 on Iglesias.
Simo, in a situation right here where more often than not, and you don't know for sure, that Iggy might get a breaking ball, can he look for one?
I think so, because we're starting to see that happen around the league, right, where when runners are in scoring position, guys are not challenging with the fastball. They're really throwing their all-speed pitches, their go-to pitch. So I think in this situation, you could look for one of those breaking balls.
Just missed to the outside corner, 3-2.
Now let me ask you another question. Do you think Iglesias was looking for that fastball right there?
I absolutely don't believe he was looking for that fastball. He was looking breaking ball. He swung through two of them, and that was great pitching there by Clevenger, though. He slowed him down, and then he thought he'd try to sneak that cheese by him, and he happened to miss.
Runners will go on 3-2, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. 6 strikeouts for Clevenger. Tigers threaten to leave a pair, 4 in the books.
Morris and Alan Trammell being inducted into the Hall of Fame tomorrow. Lou Whitaker, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of Tiger fans believe, should be there too. And I could beat the drum all day long how he ranks in the top 10 in a number of categories, that he's got a better WAR than Biggio and Sandberg and Alomar. But the bottom line is, at least we talked about this in the pregame show, I think it's an embarrassment by baseball writers that gave him just 2.9% of the vote in his first year, and thus he was off the ballot then. That means 15 of the 515 voted for Lou Whitaker. What have they been watching, for crying out loud? This guy was one of the greatest second basemen of his generation, and he has more homers than a dozen Hall of Fame second basemen, scored more runs than 10 of them, and his 2,038 games played for one team is most ever, fellas. I think it's common sense, and I just don't understand it. Can't understand it to this day. It's got to be there someday.
Shep, I wish you would tell us how you really feel about this.
Well, here, you know, honestly, and I said this in Tigers Live, and maybe it's too emotional. I honestly believe this. Send him a note that says you're going to the Hall of Fame. Oh, and by the way, this is an apology card too. All right? He deserves an apology from the Baseball Writers of America. Mario, what were they watching? I actually talked to a baseball writer one time who said, I just didn't see him that much. I said, shame on you.
Right.
You're the one who should be watching him. Take this seriously. This guy's one of the best of his era, one of the best of all time. And you know what? As you look back and you look all the numbers, and you look forward too if you want to, but look at all the numbers that he put up. He gets better with age. He's got to be there, guys.
Hey, why did he not get more love, Shep?
Well, you could say that you know, he was kind of overshadowed by certain players, I suppose. Willie Randolph got more pub in New York. Frank White won all those Gold Gloves. Ryan Sandberg was on TV every single day if you wanted to. And maybe it was just the class that he was part of, because that was loaded, right, when he first came out and was first eligible in 2001. But it really shouldn't matter, Rod.
No.
What should matter most is doing your homework, making sure you understand just how impactful this guy was in the game of baseball.
Lou made the game look easy. He was like Robinson Cano, and a lot of people watch Robinson Cano, and they talk about how lackadaisical he is from time to time. Some of those whispers came about with Lou Whitaker as well, the way he played, because he played with such a slow heartbeat, and he was so smooth and so cool. I mean, his name was Sweet Lou, for crying out loud, and he was sweet on the baseball field. He had a great arm. He could turn double plays, great range, and great power.
How much of it had to do with him playing in Detroit? And look, I know sometimes we fall back into that excuse as a Detroiter, but I bet you that doesn't help the cause either. And I quite honestly, guys, I really think he needs to be promoted more. I don't think anybody has done a good enough job in promoting him for the Hall of Fame. If that's what it requires, then so be it. I'm not talking about a Heisman Trophy candidate type campaign. I just think he needs to be mentioned more, and he's not mentioned enough.
He didn't draw any attention to himself. I remember sitting in the room with him and Gates Brown a lot of times on road trips after a game. We would go to Gates Brown's room, and we would just sit there and just talk baseball and talk hitting most of the night. And it would just be me, him, and Lou. And Gates Brown, of course, was the hitting coach at the time, who just loved to talk hitting. And I remember those times that were special. I'm sure Gates Brown looking down on Tram and Jack, very happy at what they've accomplished. Oh, Gates Brown.
Well, I can promise you this, the promotion of Lou Whitaker will be ramped up in the coming years by Trammell and Morris, so don't worry about that.
Mario, guys, I absolutely love Shep's fire. He is fired up about that. I love it.
He is on fire. And Shep does his homework, and he's got a legitimate point. The fact that someone says I've never seen him play that much should never ever be a reason not to vote for a guy for the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, that's just not good at all.
2-1 on Perez, and there's a ball outside. 3-1. Meanwhile, Blaine Hardy doing some good work here. He gave up a run in the second. Now he's retired 9 straight.
And Ron Gardenhire said last night he tried to keep Blaine right around 70 pitches this evening, but he's already at 70 right now, and there's no activity in the Tigers bullpen. He's going to give Blaine an opportunity to win this game. There will be some activity in the Tigers bullpen now. Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch. Yeah, Hardy has touched 90 today. He's done that a couple of times. He's gone as low as 73, probably that slow curveball that he will feature from time to time. Rick Anderson just got off the phone, so now they're going to get someone up in the bullpen.
Here's Lindor. Walk and a fly ball for Lindor. Ground ball to third, smothered there by Candelario, stays with it and throws him out. Well, Lou Whitaker will be in Cooperstown for his teammates Tram and Jack Morris this weekend. He tells us why he wouldn't have it any other way when we return.
For both of them, Jack and Tram, to at least be here to show my appreciation and the love that I have for both of them, because we grew up together, you know, in the minor leagues, and we've come to this point in our lives. You know, they're Hall of Famers, and you know, Lou, everybody say, you know, you should be. That's a compliment. I appreciate that, but you know, just like let life play itself out.
That was our DTE Energy Know Your Own Power, and Lou Whitaker will be in Cooperstown, is in Cooperstown to support his buddies.
Looking good too, man. He's got that great smile. What a great individual.
Here is Jacoby Jones to get it rolling in the bottom of the fifth, facing Clevenger.
I don't know how many of our listeners know, Mario, that Lou Whitaker came up as a third baseman, and he played for Jim Leland 1 year in the Florida State League. They were down in Lakeland, Florida. He played for him, and then they moved him to second base that winter during the course of Instructional League. They sent him and Tram to Double-A the next year, and from Double-A, both guys went to the big leagues. And when they got to the big leagues, when they finally got a start in Boston, they never looked back.
No, they didn't. And who would have thought that one night at Fenway Park, when those two gangly youngsters took the field, that 20 years later they would have put up the careers they did.
Can you imagine being teenagers basically going into Fenway Park and playing a game? Can you imagine that?
Well, I think the great thing about baseball is it brings people from all different backgrounds together. Lou was from West Virginia, born there, and of course Tram was a Southern California kid. And Simo, I know that in your days in both the minor leagues and the big leagues, that is really one of the great things about baseball, bringing all different types of cultures together.
It really is, and that's one of the things I enjoyed about the game of baseball, is where you can be from different places, but yet once you get inside that clubhouse, you all have one common goal, and that's to win and be a champion. In 1984, Tram, Jack, and also Sweet Lou had the opportunity to finish it and be called world champions, something that I didn't get a chance to. I enjoyed playing in the World Series, but these relationships that these guys speak of, they're long lasting. They're never ending. They're connected at the hip for life. And for me, Mario and Ron, that's just special, man. That is a special relationship those three have.
Another hook missing inside, and another good at bat for Jacoby Jones. A walk. Will be the first of the game now for Clevenger. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Oakland University.
Simo, you're not kidding about guys bonding and being attached at the hip, because I know you go down to Tigers fantasy camp every single year just like I do, and there are certain years when they'll celebrate the '84 team, they'll celebrate the '68 team, so you get a chance to see the majority of your former teammates, and you get a chance to talk for an entire week, and of course you're going to reminisce and talk about some of the stories that you've had when you were playing. So you're absolutely right, man. Championships are special.
Well, it's amazing too, Rod, to where you cannot see your teammate or your brother for 4 years, 3 years, and all of a sudden you meet up and you'll just pick up where you left off. It's almost like you haven't even been apart.
Yep.
And for me, that's in itself is a special relationship.
Well, there's no chance for Perez to throw out Jones. He had a running lead, and he swipes it standing up. He had about a 5-step lead.
Yeah, Clevenger forgot all about Jacoby, and Jacoby took off. He had about a bunch of steps. He just continued to go. I'm surprised Perez even threw it down there. And next time, Jacoby should probably slide.
Martin now with an RBI chance. Clevenger, as we told you, was feeling under the weather. There was some thought he would not make the start today. He went out, warmed up, said he was good to go, and he started the game by retiring 7 straight, but it's been bumpy since. Two 2-0 to Martin. Chased up top, 2-1.
Simo, Martin's got to be looking to drive something through the right side of the infield here, or hit something towards second base or first base to get Jacoby over to third, I'm guessing, right?
Oh, absolutely, especially in a good, I mean, the whole at bat, that's what he's supposed to do, but he's got ahead in the count now, Rod, 2-0. He just got a little bit too big with that 2-0 swing, chase the pitch maybe out of the strike zone, but he's definitely got to be thinking, get the bat head out and pull the ball to the right side. It's
a big run for the Tigers, especially as potent as the offense is of the Cleveland Indians.
2-2 on Martin.
I also thought, Rod, early in this at bat from Martin that Jacoby might think about still in third base.
With a left-hander up?
Well, just feel like he could get he can get a good jump. You look at Clevenger on the mound. He's not really that quick to home plate. If you pick a breaking ball, I think he has a chance. He has that kind of speed.
He's fearless enough. We do know that much.
Fly ball right field. Hit pretty good. Not deep enough. Geyer lines it up, and Jacoby is able to cruise into third. The fly ball does advance him. One away now. Well, the Tigers finish their series with the Indians tomorrow at 1:10. All kids 14 and under receive a back-to-school folder set. So bring along the family and enjoy the Sunday Family Value Deal that includes 4 value meals plus tickets starting at just $20 per person. Go to tigers.com/value. We're talking back to school already?
Yeah, man. Summer's almost over, unfortunately.
Infield in now with a man at third, and here's Candelario.
Simo, in situations like this, when you played, when they would bring the infield in, would you change your swing?
No, I wouldn't necessarily change my swing, Ron, but I would think to the big part of the field and try to get that fly ball somewhere in the outfield.
0-2 on Jamer.
Every time Clevenger gets himself in a little bit of trouble, man, he goes to that curveball.
And as a hitter, you just have to be a little bit more disciplined and try to make him get it up. If that's his pitch, make him get it up where you can handle it.
Fastball at the letters that time is spoiled by Candelario.
Judging by the secondary lead of Jacoby Jones down there, Simo, because you're the closest one to him, is he coming on contact?
It looks like he's going on contact. But as talking about this at bat by Candy, it's easier said than done.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Clevenger a big strikeout, 7 of them now in the ball game.
That slow breaking ball, Candelario just cannot hold up, can't stay back long enough. As a matter of fact, all 3 of the strikes that Candy got were that slow breaking ball that he has thrown a lot of today.
We're going to get the percentage on that breaking ball because you're right, Rod. He's thrown a boatload of them. Here is Castellanos now with the infield back. Castellanos ground out a strikeout.
Simo, you watched Nick take a batting practice yesterday. His last 16 games, his batting average right around 220. What are you seeing in Nicholas right now?
The front side. The front side is opening up a little bit too soon, that front shoulder. And also having a nice conversation with Lloyd McClendon, the hitting instructor. He was talking to Nick about being more patient, taking the walks. You know, if you look at this team and how it's constructed right now, they're not going to let Nicholas Castellanos beat him. He's the best hitter right now on the Tigers. So he's going to have to be a little bit more patient and pick his spot when he has to be aggressive.
And here's a question for both of you. He's pretty much been struggling since he was not named to the All-Star team. Do you think there's any correlation whatsoever?
Ooh, you know, I hadn't thought about that, Rod, but I'm sure there was disappointment. You guys can answer this better than I can, but I mean, human nature is going to tell you you're expecting to be named to that team.
There has to be a little bit of disappointment. But I also would tell you this, baseball is repetition. It's repetitive. It's every single day. You take 3-4 days off, it takes you some time to get that rhythm, get your timing back, especially when you hit with a leg kick. And Nick obviously hits with a little bit of a leg kick, so he's going to go through some rhythm and timing issues. But once he gets back on track and he starts picking that baseball up early, he'll get back to doing the kind of damage we've been seeing him do all season.
Well, he's got a chance to knock in a 2-out run here. Tigers lead 2-1. We're in the 5th.
Here's the usage on Mike Clevenger. 44% with the fastball, and as we expected, that curveball, that usage is way up here tonight. And the range of speed with that curveball has gone anywhere from 78 to 85 miles an hour. So he's thrown it at different speeds, too.
Swing and a miss. Castellanos out on strikes, and the Tigers waste a golden opportunity. 8 strikeouts for Clevenger. The last time I was in the positive, it might have been 1972. So it feels like. Not a whole lot going on tonight, though. Nobody had Jacoby Jones.
No one had Jacoby Jones. No one had Victor last night either.
All right, now, it was Blaine Hardy tonight, Rod, and when you look at Blaine, I mean, he wasn't supposed to start this game tonight. Liriano was unable to go, so really good job.
I knew Blaine would have no problem. I mean, here's a guy, and you brought it up earlier today. I mean, he was DFA'd at the end of spring training. went down to Toledo. They put him in the starting rotation because they had a need. He comes to the big leagues. He pitches well. Now he's been back and forth in the bullpen and the rotation. I had no problem. I knew he'd go out and pitch well today.
Well, he will give way now to the Tigers bullpen as we go to the 6th inning, and it's going to be the right-hander Drew Verhagen, a wall-side windows pitching change.
Verhagen has been pitching some really good baseball. I mean, he broke his nose on the covering first base when an errant throw hit him in the face. Then he spent a little time on the disabled list, but since he has come back, he has thrown the ball exceptionally well. And he's going to need to do that against the tough part of this lineup.
Michael Brantley is leading things off, then Ramirez, then Encarnacion. This will be 2-3-4. And Brantley watches one slide low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fouled out of play, 1-2. Well, Blaine Hardy in this game, here was the out distribution. We talk about this, Rod. Everything in the air tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he kept him off balance. I mean, he threw some changeups, he threw some breaking balls, he teased him with the fastball up top, but he kept a really good offense off balance, and therefore a lot of soft contact up in the air.
Brantley shoots one to right field. That'll get down a base hit, maybe more. Castellanos over to cut it off. He's going to hold Brantley to a single.
That's the second really good play tonight by Tigers outfielder. Jacoby Jones made a really nice play earlier in the game, and he was able to keep Rajay Davis from getting a hustling double. And that's the same thing Nicholas Castellanos does right here off this ball off the bat of Michael Brantley. He gets over there, and once he catches it, now Brantley stops. And that's the key. You have to catch it cleanly to make that base runner stop, because Brantley was thinking too.
Here is Jose Ramirez, who is 0 for 2. Pop up and a ground out. And Ramirez will turn around a bat left-handed.
30 homers, 73 runs driven in already for Ramirez. He's got 60 extra base hits, 60 of them already.
If you want to go even deeper with that stat, from the start of the 17 season, 151 extra base hits.
My goodness.
One ball, 1 strike on Ramirez. He had a streak back in June in which he was on base in 32 straight games. One thing he does not do is bounce into double plays, only 1 of them this year.
Yeah, I saw that earlier today. Which means he hits the ball in the air quite frequently. And which is not surprising with all the hitters these days with that the launch angle. Guys not wanting to hit the ball on the ground, guys wanting to hit the ball in the air. The Tigers play him to pull on the infield when he bats left-handed. They played him straight up when he was batting right-handed.
Popped up, shallow left. It's going to be Iglesias. And that is out number 1. Bring in Matt Shepard.
Mario, statue out here of Hal Newhouser in the Hall of Fame. Tigers deserve another lefty, as far as I'm concerned, in Cooperstown. Mickey Lolich, who struck out 200 hitters or more 7 times in his career. From 1965 through 1971, no one struck out more than Mickey Lolich. We all know what he did in the 1968 World Series. Think about this. In 1971, he threw 376 innings. I said on the pregame show it was 369. 376. The leader last year in the American League threw 214 innings, Chris Sale. Mickey Lolich was durable, he was productive, and right now, lefties, the only 3 with more strikeouts than Mickey Lolich, CC Sabathia, Randy Johnson among them. That tells you something, along with Steve Carlton. Such lofty company, and I think Mickey Lolich is another Tiger who gets overlooked.
That is some lofty company, Shep.
And Mickey made a mean donut after his playing days were over.
I knew that was coming somewhere.
Mickey Lolich, indeed. He was very underappreciated on that 68 Tigers team. Of course, that 68 World Series would never have happened without Mickey. And even down the stretch, he pitched his best baseball and actually pitched better than Denny McLain down the stretch, helping the Tigers into the World Series. Encarnacion, the batter here. It'll dive outside, 2-1.
And the Tigers have so much data on an Encarnacion and where he hits the baseball is that they're almost willing to give up the double play and just to make sure that they defend him properly, because I mean there's no one here. He doesn't hit the ball there that frequently, but if he does hit a ground ball to the shortstop or the third baseman, it's going to be a tricky double play ball. The game has changed from the way that we used to watch the game with all the shifts.
On that last ground ball, Nico was racing toward the bag to cover in case he would get a throw, but it was going to be an awkward play.
I wonder who takes the ball if there's a ground ball to a doozy.
Swing and a miss. Down goes Encarnacion. He's 0 for 3.
Mario, another thing about Mickey Lolich, he won 14 or more games 10 straight years and threw more complete games from 1965 through 71 than any other American League pitcher. Again, another one of those guys I think gets overlooked from that 1968 team.
Well, so did Bill Freehand. And
agreed.
He was on that graphic we just showed as well. I mean, Bill Freehand, for whatever reason, is not talked about among the best catchers in the history of the game. And you put together his decade of work, and it's awfully impressive.
Well, think about this. I mean, for catchers, he led the league in fielding percentage and had the record in Major League Baseball history until 2002. He led catchers in fielding percentage 4 times. And remember, Tiger Stadium, I mean, there were a lot of home runs hit there, and yet he guided a staff to the league's lowest ERA. So, I mean, Bill Freehand, you're right. Big time numbers.
Geyer cuts and misses 1 and 2. We've got a defensive change. Jacoby's out of the ball game now. Reyes is in left field.
I wonder what Jacoby did.
Don't know if he did something on the bases last half inning. 1 and 2 on Geyer. Leadoff single by Brantley in this inning. He is still anchored at first base. Geyer had the big pinch hit home run last night. He's 0 for 2 in this game. Ball high, would not chase. 2 and 2.
And 94 mile power fastball thrown by Verhagen. He can get up to about 96. His stuff plays up a little bit more when he's pitching out of the bullpen versus in a starting role.
Runner goes, and a foul back out of play. Down the right field line, Castellanos. Oh, did he get there? He got it!
Snowco.
Nick with a running catch up against the wall to end the inning. Castellanos' fine running play. Apparently it wasn't out of play. Nice job, Nick. Oh, snow cone indeed. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, it's Chevy Truck Month. Bring on the new and hand down the old. Chevrolet, find new roads. Great weekend for Tigers fans and baseball fans all across the country. It's the Hall of Fame weekend with the inductions taking place tomorrow. Some of the memorabilia you can find there. Looks like Zach McAllister now is on in the Wallside Windows pitching chain.
Zach's got a big arm. I mean, he's got a fastball that will top out at about 97 miles an hour. He also has a curveball, so he's pretty much just fastball, curveball, and occasional splitter as a change.
Nico Goodrum leads it off. Fly ball and a strikeout for Nico. 2-0. Indians were not sure what they would get out of Clevenger tonight. He surrendered a 2-run homer in the third and ended up giving them 5 innings. They weren't sure if he'd even take the mound. He was not feeling good, and there was thought that maybe Dan Otero had to start for them, but he gave them 5 innings, which will help their bullpen. He was swinging on 3-0.
I'm sure his teammates appreciated the fact that he went out there and gave them 5 innings to make sure that they didn't blow up their bullpen. Tigers need to figure out a way to tack on a few more runs against this unbelievable offense that has been averaging over 6 runs a game for the entire month of July. Yes, the entire month of July they've averaged over 6 runs a game. They've been hot.
Victor waiting on deck. And Nico is caught looking at strike 3.
Nico was up in the count 3-0. He probably swung at ball 4 too, didn't he, on the 3-0 pitch?
Yep, I agree. Time up for the Bernstein advantage as Victor Martinez strolls in, and well, it's about as hot as you can get right now. 10 for 20 in his last 6.
With 3 extra base hits, and he's also driven in 6. In his previous 5 games before he went on that hot streak, Victor was 0 for 19 and left quite a few men on base.
We got the extreme shift on for Martinez. Here's why. The second baseman Kipnis playing an outfield position right now, short right. Popped up. The center fielder Davis. 2 gone. Hey, interleague play returns to Comerica Park. Tigers will be hosting the Reds. That's this Tuesday and Wednesday, July 31st and August 1st. Great tickets still available to purchase. Call 866-66-TIGER or go to tigers.com.
Have you seen what Eugenio, the former Tiger Suarez, has been doing in the last 5 games?
He's been pretty good, hasn't he?
He's homered in every single game in his last 5. He's on fire. He might be the MVP in the National League, Mario, and he missed 3 weeks at the beginning of the season.
You know, that Reds team got up to such a terrible start.
We got them going when we were there.
Yeah, we did. But they've got some good players, man. They got Suarez and Jeanette and Votto. Votto's
always in the MVP conversation. They've got some young pitchers, too, that throw very hard. They're still young, but they throw hard.
John Hicks rolls one to short. Lindor ranging left. Hicks is out. 1-2-3 inning. When we return, Carlton Fisk remembers just how dominating Jack Morris was one special Saturday in 1984.
every time Jack took the mound, he had the possibility of throwing a no-hitter with the stuff that he took out there, especially that forkball, which was just, it was unhittable, unrecognizable, even more than that. So that's what made it so devastating. And he had fastball, he had a little slider, but he had a presence out there that you knew that if you weren't on top of your game, he's going to get you. And that day in Comiskey Park, it was one of those things after the third inning, after it went around once in the lineup, we could have said, okay, we'll see you tomorrow because we got no chance today.
That was Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk in our Chrysler game break, remembering the no-hitter that Jack Morris threw at Comiskey Park back in 1984.
That was a special day. I mean, that was the very first weekend of the season, and it was game of the week. There was only one game in town on television during those times, Mauro, and it was on Saturday, and the Tigers happened to be on national television that day when Jack threw that no-hitter, and it was a special moment. There's no doubt about that. And Carlton Fisk is right. After about the third inning, you could kind of sense that Jack was kind of settling in, and his stuff was unbelievable that day. Cold Comiskey Park that afternoon.
That's what I remember about watching that game on TV, how chilly it was. Rajay Davis skies one in the air to left field. It's going to be shallow. It's going to be Iglesias to run it down.
That's about 11 or 12 pop-ups today off the bats of the Cleveland Indians, and I mean, it's a lot of soft contact too. Game plan today put together by Rick Anderson for his pitchers has worked very well.
It'll bring up Jason Kipnis. Tigers lead this game 2-1. They have led since getting 2 runs in the third on the home run by Jacoby Jones.
So if they bring Dozier in, because you whispered that a couple of innings ago about they're kicking the tires possibly on the Minnesota Twins second baseman, does that mean they'll cut into Kipnis' time?
I would imagine Ramirez goes to second, or Dozier goes to second rather, and Kipnis has his playing time really cut, I would think, a lot. And keep in mind, he played center field last year.
He did. Yeah. He did. Well, maybe that might be their answer in center field.
Could be. There's some thought as well. They might be looking for a third baseman and then slide Ramirez over to second. I mean, there's so many options, but I do know this. I think that as good as the top of their lineup is, they could probably use another bat in the middle of their lineup.
Right. Well, they showed that last year when they got Jay Bruce from the New York Mets at the trade deadline and what Jay Bruce meant to their lineup.
Goodrum knocks it down. His throw not in time.
Nico missed that ball, and I think it hit him right on the knee. And when it hit him on the knee, that caused the ball to bounce in front of him, and that gave Kipnis a couple of extra steps. Let's see where it hits him. And I think it hit right him off that right knee. It sure did. If that ball stays right in front of him, he gets the out. But it bounced away from him about 5 feet.
Here is the number 9 hitter, the catcher, Perez.
Good breaking ball right there by Verhagen. 87 miles an hour. Outstanding curveball.
Ground ball to second. Goodrum handles this one. They'll get the force at second to retire the side. No runs in air, 1 man left, and coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. It's time now for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. We talked about it April 7th, 1984. And Ron, I know you have great memories of this day.
No doubt about that. Ron Kittle with the final strikeout there of Jack Morris. And what's funny about that, too, is it looks like Lance goes out there. He wants to pick up Jack, but Jack's trying to pick up Lance, and he's got no chance of picking up Big Wheel.
Great day in Tigers history. The no-hitter for Jack Morris, highlighting what was an unbelievable year in Tigers history.
When Jack got back to Tiger Stadium and we opened up our season, I believe it was that Monday, because that was the weekend in Chicago. So I believe we came back and opened up at Comerica Park on Monday.
A base hit for Ducey.
And the round of applause that Jack Morris got from the fans was unbelievable that day. It sent chills through my body.
I believe it. Let's bring in Matt Shepard.
Rod, look who I ran into. Teammate of yours, 1984 world champion, Dave Roseman. How proud are you that this weekend, two of your best friends, not just teammates, best friends, are going to Cooperstown?
You know, Matt, I'm so happy for those guys. Like I say, I love those guys to death. We had great times playing for 8 years, 10 years in a Tigers organization. World Series champs. Like I said, I told you, I ran into Tram when he first came to AA in '76. A little skinny 150-pounder, and Jack was wild, but he's too hard. I'm going, if these guys ever play and ever get to it, they're going to be really good. I guess my stats speak for themselves.
Hey, Southern League champs, too. You guys won some Southern League champs.
Southern League champs. It was 1976 world champs. Lance was on that team, so great guys, great memories, and that's what it's all about.
Here's the debate. We think Lou Whitaker should be in as well. Your thoughts?
Oh, thumbs up. Lou's going to make it. That's where, you know, I couldn't make this time right here. My wife just had surgery. Yeah. But, you know, Lou's going to make it, so I'm going to go back to Cooperstown to see Lou get be inducted. So, you know, God, I hope so he makes it, because he's a tremendous athlete, too.
You know, they had a house, guys. They had a house already before Rosie got called to more important things, but they had a house with Gibby and Tom Brookins and Lynn Jones. And that house may not be standing by the end of the weekend. I can tell you, if Rosie were there, there's no way that house would be standing right now. It's great to see you, my friend. You look great as always. All right, we'll talk soon. Okay, fellas, back upstairs to you.
All right, Shep, the great Dave Rosema, who is always around the ballpark. We see him just about every day down here.
Give him a hug for me, Shep.
Iglesias, the batter, 2-1 the count. And McAllister fires one in the dirt, 3-1. Leadoff single by Ducey here in the 7th. Tigers trying to add to their 2-1 lead. And there's activity in the bullpen for Cleveland.
Perez, the left-hander.
By the way, we got word on Jacoby Jones, low back tightness. Took him out of the game.
Really?
Low back tightness. Reyes on deck. He'll bat in his spot.
Jacoby too young for that. Low back tightness.
Runner goes on 3-1. It's a strike throw down. Not in time. Stolen bag.
It's the second one of the day. Jacoby stole one, and now Ducey swipes one, and Ducey doesn't steal bases, but McAllister forgot all about him, and that's a straight steal.
Tigers had a man at second with nobody out in the 5th inning and couldn't score. They got to get this run in here. They are 1 for 7 with men in scoring position. Little chopper to the right side, knocked down by Alonso. Not going to have a play. It came up and bit him, and the Tigers now have runners at 1st and 3rd.
I don't know for sure, Mario. First of all, outstanding at bat by Iglesias. Down 3-2 in the count, still does his job by hitting something to the right side of the infield. But take a look at Alonso here. It looked like to me that he was trying to field this ball, and he was going to throw this ball to third base. I don't think he wanted to get the pitcher there. I think he was going to try to go to third base to get a Ducey, who was going over there on the ground ball.
It'll be an error on the first baseman, Alonso.
And he's pretty sure-handed at first base.
He committed one last night as well, I think. Yeah, that was back in the 3rd last night.
How about a safety squeeze here?
Reyes the hitter.
Yeah, safety squeeze, for those of you that do not know, you've got a runner on third base, and If the batter does bunt the baseball down on the ground, then that base runner takes off after he sees the ball on the ground. It's not like a suicide squeeze where the base runner takes off first. It's a really good play.
Runner breaks from first base, throw down to second, not in time. And the Tigers are running wild here in the 7th.
The Tigers started the season by swiping quite a few bases. And then they went probably a month and they only swiped 2 or 3, but now they're swiping more bags today. I guess McAllister is so slow that Roberto Perez, the catcher, has no shot at throwing anybody out at second base.
13th bag for Iglesias. Infield coming in now for the Indians. Meanwhile, it's 3-0 now on Reyes.
And more than likely, this will be the last batter for McAllister, no matter what. They've got the left-handed specialist, Oliver Perez, heating up in their bullpen.
You got the call there at 3-1. First at bat for Reyes in this game after coming in as a defensive replacement for Jones. Three and 2 on Reyes.
Here's where Reyes really has to choke up, spread out, do whatever he can just to put the ball in play. Sorry about that, Mario.
Tigers are 1 for 8 with men in scoring position in this game. And he walked him. He's going to load the bases. Today, American military personnel serving overseas are watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. Welcome to those in countries around the world, aboard naval ships at sea, and thank you for your service. It's going to be it for McAllister. He's going to leave the bases loaded with nobody out.
That's only the second walk this year for Victor Reyes and over 100 at-bats. So he doesn't walk very often.
Wow. So they go to the bullpen. We'll be back to Comerica. Here is our Comerica Bank game summary. Clevenger and Blaine Hardy each went 5 innings for their respective teams. Jacoby Jones homered earlier in the game, that had to leave with lower back tightness. And so the Tigers trying to add to their 2-1 advantage now against the lefty in the wall side windows change. It's going to be the veteran Oliver Perez.
He might face one batter. He possibly could face Candelario if they want Candy to bat right-handed, but he's a left-handed specialist. He's got a nice little breaking ball. He's got a fastball in the low 90s, and he's holding left-handed batters to a 152 batting average.
Leonis Martin 1 for 3. Infield in. Popped him up. Did not want that.
What a good pitch to hit too, man.
Infield fly rule, so Martin automatically out. Ball is caught by Alonso.
Here comes Francona again. So indeed it was just one batter for Perez.
So back to the bullpen will the Indians go, and Perez does his work.
It's a nice luxury to have when you've got a couple of left-handers in your bullpen. You can use one early and then you can use one late. They've still got Brad Hand out there.
We'll be back in a 2-1 game.
Time for the Miller Lite Hold True moment, and that moment happened back in the second inning after a one-out double by Jose Iglesias. And Jacoby Jones jumped on the first pitch fastball at 94 from Mike Clevenger and hit a frozen rope into the Tigers bullpen for a 2-run shot.
So the Tigers holding on to a 2-1 lead, looking for more here. Bases are loaded with one out. Indians going back to the bullpen. Another wall side windows pitching change. Neil Ramirez coming in.
And Neil pitching in his 29th contest. He has 11 holds, a 4.32 ERA. He's not a power pitcher, so he must be a ground ball pitcher. Only 28 strikeouts and 9 walks. So Tito Francona, the manager of the Cleveland Indians, looking for the ground ball.
Infield still in for the Indians. They are loaded up for the Tigers. One out. Candelario checked it. Didn't go. Ramirez got roughed up in his last couple of starts. He's given up 5 runs in his last 4 innings.
He only has 2 pitches, a fastball and a slider. His fastball will be in the mid-90s and the slider in about 85, 86.
Fouled away. Ramirez saved their bullpen in the month of June when they couldn't get anybody out in their pen. He had a 0 ERA in 12 1/3 innings. July has been a bit of a different story, though. One ball, one strike on Jamer. Popped up. Shallow right field. Geyer is under it, still coming in. He'll make the catch, and the runners have to hold. So there are 2 outs.
Come on, Nick.
He will be able to push the infield back down with 2 away as Castellanos rolls in. Nicholas is 0 for 3 strikeouts in each of his last 2 at-bats.
Nicholas Castellanos, when he has rough days like he's having today, that 4th at-bat, he usually stays on the baseball fairly good, and he tries to drive the ball the other way. And let's see if he hits something to right field in this particular at-bat.
Swing and a miss, 0-1.
And Nicholas batting .319. And with runners in scoring position with 5 homers and nearly 40 runs driven in. And Tigers need a big hit here to take the pressure off of the bullpen.
0-2.
Back-to-back slide pieces thrown by Ramirez. Nicholas swung right through both of them. And here's the grip. Nice little spinner. And they might go upstairs with a fastball first to see if Nick will swing at that. Then they might go right back downstairs with the breaking ball.
Castellanos 1 for 7 in the series. Golden opportunity here with 2 outs. Now Perez will use a mound visit.
They made such a big deal out of the mound visit rule in spring training. The thing has not come into play at all.
I mean, we might have come close once or twice all year, maybe.
That was the first mound visit of the day right there.
Oh, 0-2 on Castellanos. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He got him to chase. And the Tigers leave him loaded. Indians wiggle out of a jam. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Tigers let a golden opportunity go by the wayside. Now, right now, Rod, you've got a big part of this game because it's still a one-run game, and the Indians have the top of their lineup coming up.
Well, the Indians are a dangerous team. We talked about the fact they're averaging 6 runs per contest. The Tigers have had some opportunities to stretch the lead. They just have not been able to do so. And now it's going to be up to their bullpen to hold it.
Pretty good job by Hardy today. Also, Verhagen coming on, and now Joe Jimenez will come into this game. It'll be nice to see if he can bounce back from last night.
Yeah, he threw 23 pitches in last night's game, and Joe just didn't really look like himself. And we'll get to one of the at-bats that I thought was crucial in last night's contest. It was the one to Yonder Alonso that Jimenez tried to overpower him with fastballs, and Alonso ended up getting one of the biggest hits of the day last night in that 8th inning when Joe came into the game.
Lindor leads it off. It'll be Lindor, Brantley, and Ramirez, top 3 for Cleveland.
Jimenez was an all-star this year at the tender age of 23. So he was teammates with the next 3 guys that he's going to face. They sat in the same dugout just a few days ago.
Lindor, a walk, a fly ball, and a ground out.
How about that? He's going up against Lindor, Brantley, and Ramirez, his teammates.
Doing the heavy lifting here in the 8th. Brantley got him for a leadoff single in the 8th inning last night. Then the Ramirez walk, and eventually in the inning, the Indians would score 4 runs. Little chopper to the right side. Goodrum on the backhand, and Lindor is out.
Let's take a look at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. This was that at bat last night against Alonso, a crucial at bat with runners in scoring position. He threw him all fastballs. He dusted him with a couple at 96 right by him, and then he continued to throw him fastballs. And you could tell Alonso starting to cut his swing down a little bit. He's fouled off one more, and then he threw him another fastball at 97 that he laced the opposite way. He beat the defense. In my opinion, and Ron Gardenhire said as much after the game, is that Jimenez should have thrown something up there with some spin on it, at least for one pitch, to get Alonso off the fastball. Then he could have went, off the with a spin on. Then he could have went back to the fastball. But he just threw him all fastballs and ended up costing him last night.
Lesson learned.
I'll take it a step further. And the previous batter to Alonso last night was Encarnacion, and he struck Encarnacion out on 4 fastballs and 96 miles an hour. So if you're Alonso, not only did you get all those fastballs, but you sat in the on-deck circle and watched him blow your teammate away too, so you knew it was on his mind. Learning experience last night for Jimenez.
2-0 is low. 3-0 now on Brantley, with Ramirez on deck.
Boy, Brantley is such a good hitter, man. I don't know if he likes to swing 3-0. But you never know these days.
Yep. And then he's going to drive it in the air to center field. Martine's going to get there, though, all the way to the warning track. 2 gone. That'll bring up Ramirez. Spartans listen up. Fox Sports Detroit University days are back. It's time to head to Comerica Park on August 24th when the Tigers take on the White Sox and show your school spirit. Special ticket packages include a game ticket, Tigers cap in green and white, then a donation back to your school. Tigers.com/MSU. 2 outs now, and here is Jose Ramirez. Ball 1 high.
They've been throwing Ramirez a lot of fastballs up top, and he's had a difficult time of laying off of those fastballs. He's popped up quite a few times in the series already.
They'll go to the backstop. 2-0.
Well, you fall behind 2-0. You really do not want to throw Ramirez a fastball right down the middle. You never want to put the tying run on first base. But with that being said, he is a much more dangerous hitter than the guy in the on-deck circle. Good pitch. A little change up that he stayed off of. How do you take that pitch?
Fish weren't biting. 3-0.
Don't get it too close. He might swing at it.
And he lost him.
Yeah, that's smart pitching. Now you got to get this guy out coming into the batter's box.
2-out walk for Ramirez. Encarnacion will stand in. Rick Anderson coming out. Here is the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. These two teams will close it out tomorrow with Corey Kluber and Jordan Zimmerman.
And Kluber has been outstanding this year against Tigers bats, but overall lately he's struggled the last 5 outings. He's just 12-6 with a 2.88. Still having a really good year. And it'll be Jordan Zimmerman with 4-2 record, 3.97 earned run average.
So here is Encarnacion.
He struck Encarnacion out last night in the 8th inning on 4 pitches, all fastballs, all in the mid-90s.
Ball 1.
And I think that's exactly what Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, went out to talk to Jimenez about. You threw him 4 fastballs last night. You might want to start him off with something soft here tonight.
Fly ball in the air to deep right center field. Martinez on the run, still going back. He'll run it down. He hit it a ton out there to right center. Leonis makes the play to end the inning. No runs, a walk, 1 man left. Here comes the bottom of the 8th. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Back here at Comerica Park as Nico Goodrum leads it off and pops it up to the shortstop Lindor. 1 gone. 1 away here in the 8th inning. It'll bring in Victor Martinez. Vmart is on base again tonight. He singled in the 4th. He is 1 for 3. McAllister came on, or Ramirez rather, came on in the 7th. They've had McAllister, Perez, and Ramirez out of their bullpen. Tigers have action. Shane Green warming up. We'll see if he's out there to protect a 1-run lead or maybe more. Fly ball. Lazy fly ball. Shallow right field. Long run. Geyer has to tumble to make the play.
There has been a boatload of fly balls in this game today on both sides.
MLB.TV is now available at a lower price for $82.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. MLB.TV, and take advantage of the special offer. Check it out online. Two away now for John Hicks, who waves and misses. Tigers 2 runs, 6 hits, and the Indians a run on 5 hits. Oh, and 2. Swing and a miss. Hicks is down. A 1-2-3 inning for Neil Ramirez. Let's go to the 9th. 1-run game.
This 1-800-CALL SAM update. I'll tell you what, Seymour, this game's been flying by.
It really has. The Tigers missed some opportunities, a couple innings where they could have added on some runs. But, Johnny, they are leading 2-1. They've got a chance to win a ball game against one of the better teams in this league. Hopefully they can get it done.
I'll tell you what, Blaine Hardy deserves a lot of credit for what he was able to do today. Tigers bullpen has been productive as well. We'll break down all that stuff. But most importantly, we're going to take you out to Cooperstown, where, of course, a Hall of Fame weekend. It's been exciting. We have interviews coming up here from Ricky Henderson, Juan Marichal, Carlton Fisk,
you name it,
Alan Trammell, Jack Morris,
just some of the greats. Just some of the greats.
Just some of the greats to ever play the game. So we'll have reports from John Keating coming up throughout the night on Tigers Live. But first, we got a couple more outs to go before we get there. So we send you back up to the booth with Mario and Roderick B. Allen.
Oh, nice, Johnny Kane. Shane Green is on now out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Shane Green looking for his 21st save of the season. And pitching in his 45th contest. 4.19 ERA for Shane. Spent a little time on the disabled list, but he's been throwing the ball well since coming off the DL. I like that first pitch breaking ball to a dead fastball hitter in Brandon Guyer.
Guyer, Alonso, and Davis due up here against Shane Green. 1-run game in the 9th. Guyer is 0 for 3. Has hit the ball in the air to right field every time.
And Guyer made a nice play off the bat of Victor Martinez. Second out of the inning.
Now he'll try and get it done with his bat here in the 9th. High pop up.
Another one.
Center field, and it's going to be Martin. One gone. Make sure you join us again tomorrow. Tigers wrapping up the series with the Indians. Your game coverage begins at noon with Tigers Live right here on Fox Sports Detroit.
I got 14 fly balls today off the bats of the Cleveland Indians. 14 of them, and a lot of them are, most of them, lazy flyouts too.
In there, a strike called on Alonso.
And you got to keep this young man in the ballpark. He's got some pop in his bat, and most of his power is to right field, so you make him hit the ball the other way. If he beats you in that direction, so be it.
Melky Cabrera has moved to the on-deck circle for the Indians, with Davis due up next. So they will bring one of their left-handed bats off the bench. One and two now on Alonso.
I shortchanged the Tigers a couple of flyouts. 16 of them, I've been told.
That's a bunch.
I can't remember a game where the Tigers got the opposing team to fly out 16 times.
Well, it's a good ballpark to do it in. Flared foul down the left field line.
Alonso has beaten the shift a couple of times in the series. He beat the shift his first time up, albeit hitting a ball off the end of the bat. I think he broke his bat, but he had a really nice base hit the opposite way in last night's contest. You can see he doesn't go that way very often, and most of the time it's to the pull field, but he's hit a couple of balls right past Jamer Candelario.
The ball he hit the other way last night was an RBI single off Jimenez in the 8th inning after falling behind in the count, and that was part of that big 4-run frame. 1 and 2 on Alonso.
How about a fastball up top? See if he'll swing through it and miss it.
Little chopper back up the middle. And Alonso is out. There are 2 gone.
Were you thinking what I was thinking?
Yep, it's going to hit the bag.
I sure was thinking that.
That's going to bounce to the center.
My goodness.
Well, it's happened this year a couple of times.
Right. I mean, I thought this thing had bag written all over it.
Oh, it just missed too.
It's almost like Iglesias was anticipating that he was going to hit the bag too, the way he fielded it.
Here is Melky Cabrera, the final chance here for the Indians.
And we've been looking for this guy all night. The 27th out.
Shane Green takes a tour around the mound. Ball 1. Cabrera batting .253 with 11 RBIs, was with the Indians earlier this year, then designated, now back with the team.
Yeah, Melky has played for several teams. He's always been a very good fastball hitter. Melky's had a nice career. He really has carved out a nice career for himself. Yankees, Atlanta, Cleveland, Kansas City, San Francisco.
Popped up. Should do it. Candelario, foul ground, and the Tigers win. Stay tuned. Tigers Live postgame coming from the Coliseum Studios next.